International Bronze Tango. We would like to the closed promenade. This figure starts moving a long line of dance, pointing diagonal wall. Slow, quick, quick, slow, and we finish facing diagonal wall. We'll try it again. This figure begins moving a long line of dance, pointing diagonal wall. Slow, quick, quick, slow, and finishes facing diagonal wall. And now for the man's timing and alignments. We begin moving a long line of dance, pointing diagonal wall, slow, quick, quick, slow, and we finish facing diagonal wall. And now for the man's foot positions. We have left foot to the side in promenade position, right foot forward and across in CBMP in promenade position, left foot to the side and slightly forward, right foot closes to left foot, slightly back. From a different angle, we have left foot to the side in promenade position, right foot forward and across in CBMP in promenade position, left foot to the side and slightly forward, right foot closes to left foot, slightly back. And now for the footwork. We have heel, heel, inside edge of foot, whole foot.
And now, ladies, for your timing and alignment. This figure will commence moving along the line of dance, pointing diagonal to center. Slow, quick, quick, slow. And it will finish backing diagonal wall. And now for the foot positions. Right foot to the side in promenade position. Left foot forward and across in CBMP in promenade position. Right foot to the side and slightly back. Left foot closes to right foot and slightly forward. And now from a different angle. Right foot to the side in promenade position. Left foot forward and across in CBMP in promenade position. Right foot to the side and slightly back. Left foot closes to right foot and slightly forward. And now for the footwork. Heel, heel, inside edge of ball heel, whole foot.
And now for the technique in this figure. So gentlemen, we're standing on our right foot, preparing to step side left. Now in this dance, of course, we know that our knees are slightly flexed to begin with, but we need to communicate to the lady that we are going to move off. So even though we're in a flexed position, I want you to think that you're flexing the knees and your body is starting to shift forward, not by tilting, but by moving sideways. So if you just watch my body, and I'll try and face the camera here. So if you watch where the line of my spine is, even though my knees are flexed, as I flex the knee, if you can see that I'm starting to shift my weight across my feet. That signal will tell the lady that we are moving into our side position. So I'll dance that with Heather. We'll dance it in contact. So as I continue to flex, I'm not just moving down, I'm moving across my feet. We need to always communicate in all our promenades when we are moving. Quite often, even though our knees are flexed, we'll simply just move our body weight without committing our weight into our knees a little bit further and shift the weight forward. We need to communicate that signal to the ladies. Now, from this position, we'll take left and then right. Now, from this position, we have a torquing action through our right leg and thigh. So what I'd like you to do at this point, I'll turn to the camera sideways. As you step forward and across on the right foot, without turning the feet, I'd like you to turn your thighs and hips slightly to the right. Now that is going to be your axis point through your right side and through the thigh and the hip. Now what I want you to do is I want you to rotate the hips to the left, and that is your lead, and also turning the elbow points to the left to line up to our diagonal wall position. That is the springboard effect that you're going to get to lead the lady to a closed position. So I'll dance sideways again to the camera. So I have walk, walk. I'm going to feel that off of my right front through that thigh and hip, I'm rotating from right to left, allowing my elbow points to turn back to diagonal wall, and that is the lead that the lady is going to feel to dance our closed position. So we have slow, quick, quick, and now we close our feet. Now what's very important when we close our feet is that our body comes back to of course, our basic lined up position. We want to try in this stance not to have tipping or rocking, whether it's from side to side or forward or back. So when we dance our closed promenade, try to keep the spine and our blocks of weight beautifully lined up.
And now, ladies, for our technique. In promenade position, one of the things that I want you to feel that I feel is a little bit different from the other dancers. I feel I'm very, very much behind Victor's right side. So can I just borrow you, Victor, a second? When we go to promenade position, if this is closed position and we simply turn to promenade position, I am dancing what I like to call Victor's right edge, not his right front. If I was just dancing his right front, I may not be able to get back behind the man's hip. And the biggest fault that we find when a couple are uncomfortable in promenade position is usually the location of their bodies is incorrect. So it's very, very important if you just simply think of two rolling pins together, and I basically want the lady to open out. She's open a little bit more than the man in promenade in order for the lady to actually fit behind the man's hip. And so ladies, I feel like I'm dancing Victor's right edge. So quite often I like to take this position and just simply walk. Now I feel I can stay behind his hip and not block him at all. I'm going to do this towards the camera because what I quite often see is that the lady's hip comes through and the bodies get left behind, thus causing a tremendous block. So basically the biggest thing is stay at the end of that progressive link, once that we've just shown you, stay behind the man's right hip. Any promenade position that you have, stay behind his hip. And then when you start to move with the inside leg, please stay behind the hip as well. Then Victor can then, or your partner can then allow you to rotate back in front of the body. All the technique that Victor's just shown you from the second to the third step, if the lady isn't back behind the hip, there's no way this is going to work. So when the man is in this position, the lady has to be dancing behind that hip. Now then, once he gives us that message off of that second step that he's got, on our third step, I want you to think of a very, very strong pigeon toe here. All right, so I want you to think of a very strong foot. Don't dance the foot on the same direction this way. Turn it underneath the body, feel that magnet between the knees, and then simply close the feet, left foot slightly in front of the right foot. The biggest thing that we find as well is the third step, because if the foot doesn't turn in, it completely shoots the lady past the man's center also. So remember, ladies, stay on the man's right front, listen to the right hip, stay down, and make sure that the third step of the closed promenade is turned in.
I'd like to add at this point that in promenade position relative to our closed position is that we are in a different body contact position. So we've just taught you a progressive link that opened you up to promenade, and of course now we're moving in promenade. So let us at this point go over this. So of course our closed position is right front to right front, which we had in our introduction. Now, when we do open to promenade position, obviously we call this our open position, which is promenade position, but our body contact will change from my right front. When I roll her open to promenade, it is then going to be in contact with the lady's left front, which Heather was describing. So, of course, when we are in promenade position, her right front is slightly open and I'm in contact with my right front to her left front.
They don't try and close the right front.
Exactly. So as we dance through the promenade position and I close the lady from the second to third step, I roll her into a closed position, and now we were back in our closed position, which we will reconnect right front to right front. So it's very important through all these promenade figures that we are going to be teaching you is that promenade position will change from the man's right front to the lady's left front in terms of our contact. Your closed body position is right front to right front. So if we can make that very, very clear to you, that will keep your bodies in the correct alignment and you'll have much greater comfort.